topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Powerful Business Strategies, where you will find out that everything you have ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Finally, a show where you'll learn the right way to grow your business by learning business and financial strategies that your competition isn't doing. And now, here is your host, President of Next Step CFO, Michael Barbarita. And joining Michael for today's show as an executive moderator is Chucky Obia.
Yes. This is Chucky, and I believe that gratitude is undefeated and growth is about the next step. It is an honor for me to moderate today's discussion with my good friend, Michael. Michael, how are you?
Great, Chucky. How's it going?
It's going well.
Good. And as Chucky said, my name is Michael Barbarita, President of Next Step CFO. And Next Step CFO is a fractional CFO and strategic implementation firm. Our vision is to ensure overwhelmed business owners achieve the time freedom and consistent profits to build a legacy and the life they desire. Our mission is dedicated to guiding small business owners to leveraging their time, exploding their profits, and building that meaningful legacy. And the show Powerful Business Strategies in our book of the same name is a step toward accomplishing that vision and mission. So with that, I'd like to hand it back to my co-author and moderator for the show, Chucky Obio.
Michael, it's truly an honor to collaborate with you. So today is episode 14. How energized are you about our episode 14? Sort of a milestone.
Absolutely. Yes. No, it's
Right.
over a quarter.
There you go.
Of a year.
Over a quarter of a year. I love that. You've spoken like a true strategic CFO. I love that. So look, the title of this episode is How to Send a Large Direct Mail Campaign for Free. And direct mail campaigning, I mean, this is really born out of a lot of interest from the small and medium-sized business owners that we work with coast to coast. And Michael, before we jump into the heart of today's episode with your insights, your leadership perspectives, I've just got to drop a really quick kind of disclaimer. So look, Michael and I are affiliated with a number of different organizations, and I currently serve as the managing director of business development for Vetterprice, a global business-focused law firm. But it's truly a personal point of privilege to get to collaborate with Michael, really coast to coast. We moderate a number of business roundtables, and we document the best practices from those roundtables. And we feature these best practices in our book, Powerful Business Strategies. But please note that the views expressed in the show are our personal views based on successful experiences that we've had. And as the fearless moderator, my job is really just to ask Michael the right questions, to take notes, share those notes, and to help you and me really learn and start to implement the best business strategies that the competition isn't doing. So with that, Michael, I'll toss it back over to you.
Thank you, Chucky. You know, Chucky, we've been interviewing a lot of small business owners lately, and they've been telling us, a lot of them have been telling us they have absolutely no marketing budget at all.
Yeah.
Well, today, we're going to help solve that problem for those business owners who are willing to do the work associated with the topic that we have chosen today. And today, we're going to help you learn some interesting information about direct mail marketing and give you the ability to send direct mail to as many qualified prospects as you would like for free if you're willing to do the work. And one key to successful marketing is repetition. Why is repetition important? Because you never know where your prospect is on the buyer's journey. And it's mandatory that you position a compelling message with an irresistible offer in front of your prospects multiple times because of the proliferation of marketing. And your prospect might be at the point you never know where your prospect is, and they might be at that point in their journey where they're ready to make some type of vendor selection.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I don't want to just think I don't want people to think that I'm just throwing words around with respect to buyer's journey, a compelling message, an irresistible offer. A compelling message, a position of market dominance, irresistible offers, a buyer's journey. These are all concepts and strategies that we have spoken about many times in previous shows. And we have entire shows dedicated to those topics at powerfulbusinessstrategies.com.
Absolutely.
But today, experts now say it takes multiple contacts or touch points to establish sufficient trust, respect, and rapport to get a prospect to buy what you sell. So how can financially strapped small business owners accomplish this seemingly impossible task? Well, most of them attempt email solicitations. And I think a lot of us know how difficult that is. And, you better have a list that has opted in email addresses. Otherwise, you might be doing something illegal. And then furthermore, when you think about it, most of us delete email without even opening it. And the only exception to this rule is through the use of joint venture partnership email lists and collaborations. And only then, if your JV partner has a excellent relationship with their database, because most of them don't. So believe it or not, many of the so-called internet gurus are, at least to some degree, reverting back to good old direct mail. And yes, it can be expensive if it's not laser targeted to your specific ideal client. Now, it's preferable to send out 10 mailings to 2,000 prospects versus sending out one mailing to 20,000.
Interesting.
But even 2,000 can seem daunting logistically and financially to a small business owner. However, if you're willing to devote a little time and effort to this direct mail marketing strategy, the cost for you to reach multiple prospects multiple times will be just your time, sweat equity, if you will. And before I go through how to make your direct mail campaign free, there are a few things that you need to know about direct mail. First, you need to understand who your ideal client is. Now, if you ever had the opportunity to work with us, one thing that we make sure we guide you to do is preparing a customer avatar. Now, a customer avatar is a representation of your ideal client. And this is the client that actually wants what you sell versus needs what you sell. Let me give you an example. If I need to have a dentist fill a cavity, I certainly don't want that. On the other hand, no one really needs whiter teeth, but most people want whiter teeth. So if you can see the difference in those two situations, wants are based on emotion and needs are based on logic. And discovering your ideal client depends on your ability to discover the demographic, which are the physical traits, as well as the psychographics, which are the emotional traits that make up your ideal client. And the client avatar helps you focus on those demographic or physical traits, and psychographic and emotional traits.
Great. So look, Michael, we've been going at this for some time here, and we're getting a number of comments and some good questions. So let's break this up a little bit and just inject some of these questions from the business owners that are listening and really interested in this topic. So first things first, this doesn't take away from a digital online strategy, correct? We're getting some of those kind of...
No, we've talked about a lot with the buyer's journey, drip campaigns and those types of things. It doesn't eliminate it. No, not at all. But what it does for those people who are doing nothing or don't feel like they could do anything or don't have a list that is opted in and feel a little edgy about doing, some spammy emailing, this is the strategy. It's really designed around those people with no budgets.
Brilliant. So regardless of business owner, this could be additive, right? This could be a value add.
Yes, this could be
Right.
definitely added for some, and a lot of the business owners that we've been talking to have absolutely zero
Yeah.
money to do any marketing.
Yeah.
And so this is playing their song.
Absolutely. And that, Michael, the other comments that we're getting is actually a compliment to you, right? Folks are saying the timing of this is really on point because they're getting into Q4,
Right.
a lot of pressures around how their annual performance is looking like. And, folks are saying this might be the way to maybe hit some of those numbers. But maybe can you just reflect on the timing of this, particularly with the holiday season and ways to maybe take advantage of that?
Well, I think, depending upon how long it takes for you to coordinate it, now is certainly the time. If it takes, like, it's October 7th, so if it takes a month to coordinate it, month and a half, you'd be right on time for the holidays.
Brilliant. Good stuff, Michael. Thank you.
Second, the other thing that, getting back to what you need to know about direct mail before I impart the strategy, you must map out the decision-making process. All human beings want the best deal. But the best deal doesn't mean the lowest price.
Yeah.
But it does mean the most value for the price they pay. What we've seen in our research for the book called Powerful Business Strategies is that prospects will pay twice the price of your competitors if they see 5 times the value for the price you're charging them.
Wow.
And we had a special show dedicated to adding more value. But prospects decide to buy based on value. So map out what your ideal clients consider valuable to them in their specific situation. Just to give you a quick example, a daycare mother with a 6-month-old infant will value a daycare that offers sufficient trained staff to show additional love, care, and support for the kids that they keep. On the other hand, there's a daycare mom with a 4-year-old child that will value a daycare that specializes in offering educational programs for preschoolers. Like, for example, what mom wouldn't want their child to be reading at a 1st grade level prior to kindergarten? Yeah. And by the way, it may be necessary for the business owners to create new innovations to their current business model in order to provide their prospects with value. Sometimes it takes a change in the operating basis. And so that, I know that creates certain challenges, but if you're going to do something special, to add value to a customer or client, that could require some changes to the way you operate, the way you, the logistical way you operate.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So it looks like we're getting some appreciative comments just based on that. Michael, really quick question here. This might go back to something you said earlier. So just this idea of really adding more value, right? And getting after that contact or customer list. You said psychographics and demographics. Can we just fine tune and maybe define that a little bit for folks?
Yeah. So demographics are things like age.
Yeah.
Age, geography, where are they geographically located? Are they male, female?
Yep.
That type of thing. Psychographics are more emotional triggers.
Interesting.
Like for example, what makes them happy? What makes them sad? What are their challenges?
Yeah.
Who are the people that they listen to? Who are the people they trust? Those are more emotional and psychographic triggers.
Very helpful.
Yeah. So the customer avatar identifies both of those things, all in one document.
Nice.
And that's something we help business owners with.
Great.
But for the business owner who accepts the challenge of implementing those innovations and changing their operating basis, they're going to dominate. They will dominate their market. And once the innovations are in place, they need to create that compelling message, which is the third thing. Now, this should be easy to do since innovations typically separate the business from all its competitors. And writing a compelling message becomes as simple as stating the facts and listing the differences between you and your competition. And furthermore, you can go to one of our past shows that we dedicate only to compelling offers. And if time allows, I will summarize things like compelling offers and the conversion formula. So in the meantime, let me give you an example of adding more value through innovation. And I understand that by today's standards, this example that I'm going to give you isn't realistic yet, but it makes the point of the great advantage that you have when you add more value to your product or service. So as you know, there are a multitude of Toyota dealers selling Camrys. And not only that, their competitors are also selling similarly priced models as well. And so if we just take something like, let's just take the Nissan Altima and the Chevy Malibu as just two of them. But what would happen and those are similarly priced models as the Camry. Mm-hmm. But what would happen if the engineers at Toyota cracked the mileage code and created a Camry that got 200 miles per gallon? Would that separate them from all their competitors? Would they be able to charge more for that car than all the others? Would that marketing be really hard to write? Well, hardly. I mean, it would be as simple as this. We sell Toyota Camrys now that get 200 miles per gallon, and we're only 20% higher in price than our competitors' comparable models. Want one? So you see what I mean? So now, I mean, it is, once you come up with an innovation or a way to add value, it's not that difficult to communicate it. And so, you know how they make decisions before, because you know what they value, and you've created the innovation so the value can be placed into a compelling marketing message. Okay, so let's talk more about how to send and how to develop that direct mail piece for free.
Okay.
So the first step is to create a list of additional products and services that your ideal clients are interested in. So for example, if you're a landscaper, your ideal clients would be interested in adding a fence to their yard, or perhaps a pool, maybe stonework, a barbecue pit, or a patio deck. They may also want their home painted. They might want their bathroom remodeled, their home inspected, install a security system, and so on. Now, none of these are direct competitors with the landscaper, but they all should be targeting that same ideal client. So what I'm asking you is you to pick up the phone or send an email or a letter at the very least, followed up preferably with a phone call. And that letter I'm going to explain in a moment. But pick up the phone and call as many of these businesses as required until you find one, and only one for each type of business, that would be willing to partner with you on this direct mail marketing program. Now, you should plan to find a minimum of 10 non-competitive businesses to partner with. Now, you might be able to do less than 10, but 10 is optimum. And by the way, this first step is similar to creating joint venture partnerships that we actually talked about last week in our last show. Now, each partner is responsible for designing a 3x5 sized postcard with a special offer listed on it for their business. And if they want, they can utilize both sides of the postcard. Now, what I'm proposing here is similar to what you often see in a Valpak mailing. But those have all different businesses in it, all different businesses. This is just going to focus on what your ideal clients want. And so you'll agree with your partner to coordinate buying the prospect list from the list broker that fits your ideal client description. You'll agree to arranging the printing of all the postcards and remember, the partner is designing it. Getting the postcard to the direct mail house you'll also agree to, and scheduling the various mailings over whatever time frame the group decides is appropriate. So in short, you're going to create your very own Valpak business consortium with you at the helm. Now, this is critical. Before you contact any of these potential partners, check out the costs for all of these services and arrange for bulk discounting with the printer and the mail house. This is the most critical step you can take. Before you contact anybody, you have to figure out all the costs involved in this whole campaign. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of costs, but they're not likely the costs in your particular area. Every area I find is different. Also find out from your research of costs where the quantity price breaks are. Now, I'm going to give an example of a 2,000 piece mailing, because as I said earlier, it's better to send a 2,000 piece mailing to the same people 10 times than it is to send one 20,000 piece mailing. So I'm going to give you an example of a 2,000 piece mailing, but maybe there's a real favorable price break at 2,500 or 1,500. So you got to change that quantity accordingly, according to what the direct mail house tells you what their printing price breaks are. So know what your costs of everything up front, and be sure to look online, as there are a multitude of reputable online printers and mass mailers offering bulk pricing discounts. Now, typically, you could send out direct mail postcards for about 70 cents each, but that's when you send them individually. You're going to be sending all of your partners' postcards as well as your own in one single mailing. So if you target 2,000 homes in your area that are your ideal clients, the total cost to mail these prospects one time, probably in the area of $3,000. And I'm being a little high, but I'm using $3,000, including purchasing a multiple use mailing list. So naturally, prices will vary depending upon your location, as I mentioned. And by the way, that price should also include the printing and mailing of your postcard as well. And your postcard is not going. Your postcard is not going to be 3x5, like I said. Your partner's postcard is going to be. Your postcard will be a 4x6 full color postcard, so it stands out from the others. And please note that your partners may also create the same size postcard, but by you stating that you need a 3x5 card, they will automatically request that. They will automatically use that size. Now, they can always upgrade in the future if they so desire, but most won't. Most won't upgrade, and yours will stand out from the others when prospects open that mailing. So now, this is important. You've got to get all your partners to agree that you will schedule a minimum of 10 separate mailings for a total cost of $30,000. Now, this is $3,000 per mailing times 10 mailings. Remember that repetition is important, and that's why we're doing 10 mailings. Now, that's only $3,000 per business owner, and they can pay that on a per mailing basis if they want. You just got to make sure that they commit to it. 10 separate mailings now may take up to 5 months to complete. So that's about a $600 a month marketing budget for those partners. I mean, realistically, every business in this consortium could easily gain a minimum of 10 customers. That's a 0.5% response. And that's pretty conservative, because many of these direct mail campaigns average 1%, which would mean an average of 20 new clients for each of those prospects, for each of those partners. And that's after a single mailing. So this is now a total of 10 mailings. And by the way, look at your investment in all of this. All you've invested in this entire process is your time and organizational skills, and your bigger postcard should pull more clients than your partners. Now, your partners have covered all of these costs involved, and you have certainly earned your free ride by coordinating this entire prospect and driving qualified prospects to them. So this represents a true win-win scenario, especially for the business owners like so many that we have interviewed with zero marketing dollars. Now, here's a second version of this that has been used successfully, and see what you think. This second version is really just for business to consumer businesses. But first, you have to find out how many people are living in your trading area. And what you want are the number of residences. You see, the post office will show you how to do what's called a Dear Resident mailing. And the post office will deliver your Dear Resident mailing really cheap because you're trying to hit every household in a certain zip code or in a set of zip codes. And if you'd like to personalize the carrier envelope and just do a search under the category mailing list, and you'll find a list of local companies that can help you. Or if you want, one of the big mailing list houses is a company called Database USA, and they'll help you reach whatever target market you're looking for. So if you're looking for, let's say, let's say you find out that there's 55,000 residences in a particular trading area that you want to reach. What you do then is approach other businesses that would be interested in reaching these same people with a postcard advertisement, and ask these businesses if they'd like to spend 15 cents instead of 70 or 80 cents to reach these potential customers in this target market. And remember to only approach businesses that are not competing with yours or not competing collectively. Send a letter or email to these businesses. And I'm going to recite what the letter should be. And this is that letter that I referenced earlier that could be either in the form of an email, a letter, and what you could say on a phone call. So this is to find partners now. Dear business owners, I'm sure you know how costly it is to mail a marketing letter to your target market. Even a simple postcard will cost you 50 cents or more for each postcard that you send out. And if you mail a letter in an envelope, you'll spend at least 90 cents per letter, even if the mail is at bulk rate. What I'm proposing is that we conduct a co-op mailing. I'm looking for 10 businesses, none of which, 12, in this case, 12 businesses, but 10 was for the first version, 12 is for this version, none of which are in competition with each other, to share the cost of the mailing. All of our postcards would go into the same envelope. This mailing will be hitting 55,000 homes and then you insert what area, city and state. But instead of paying a minimum of $49,000, which they would have to pay to reach 55,000 homes, your mailing will cost just a little over $4,000. That's an estimate based on our current out-of-pocket costs. So you'll be hitting a home in the XYZ area for less than 7.5 cents. All you need to do is give me your postcard or what you want to say, and I'll print it for you. I have found this to be the most cost-effective way to reach a target market, which is in this, once again, you name the area. But here's the hidden benefit of having 12 postcards arrive in one envelope. The postcards bundled together are heavy and kind of land with a thud when the envelope is dropped on the kitchen table. This is attention-getting and actually improves the response rate to the mailing significantly over what you would receive if your postcard just showed up in the mailbox by itself. So if this program that interests you, just give me a call and give your phone number, of course, in the letter, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have and give you all the details. I encourage you to call me right away if you're interested, because I'll need your postcard ad and you put the date right in there, giving the letter a sense of urgency in order to keep the mailing schedule. So now you can also get group together more than just postcards in an envelope. You could also do it with little flyers, little letters, or other types of advertising material. It doesn't have to be postcards, but postcards has seemed to work the best because you can use both the front and the back. And previously I said use a 4x6 postcard, but when your partners use 3x5 and they see you using 4x6, they may decide to try that for themselves, as I mentioned earlier. And I recommend that if the other mailings are in color and have been professionally designed, that you do the opposite and use a standardized postcard in black and white. It just depends what they use, and you'll know what they use because you're organizing this whole thing. And this continues to ensure that your postcard stands out from all the others. Then, to further differentiate your mailing piece, use the conversion formula and give them a compelling offer. Now, most of the other postcards produced by the partners will be produced by ad agencies or by themselves, and they'll be the typical 4-color artwork, and they'll have the standard starburst graphic that says 10% or whatever discount that they want to offer. Yours is going to stand out just by the fact that it's going to be bigger, and that it's going to have that conversion formula with that compelling offer. So getting this system up and running will take time, effort, and energy on your part. But for those of you who are small business owners with little to no marketing dollars, this is a strategy that's definitely worth investigating. And at a minimum, use this little trick to conduct your direct mail marketing campaigns for absolutely no out-of-pocket dollars to you. It's not all that hard to find those 10 to 12 businesses that'll be more than happy to jump in and do a joint venture with you.
Nice.
However, this bears repeating. Make absolutely sure that before you approach any of your partners, that you have all the costs accumulated for every component of that direct mail piece. And your direct mail company will help you, will guide you as to what all those costs are and what you have to go about getting for them. So now you have the ability to send direct mail to as many prospects as you want for free. And this show is designed to provide you with that paint by number template to guide you in properly executing this strategy for your business, and to do so with confidence and certainty. So follow our process and you'll soon position your business as the dominant player in your industry. And so what is really, I think, critically important here is that without an advertising budget, and direct mail, by the way, is a very effective form of advertising. When I was in the ski business, I used to use direct mail, and it was my number one form of advertising, the best by far, because it was very targeted. And, you know, in that particular case, it was targeted to people who had purchased from our store in the past. And because we knew they were skiers, it just works so well. And so it's very important that you get a very targeted list, and that you get, I mentioned Database USA. They have very targeted lists that you can use. And I've used those in the past, and they're very, very good. Very good. And so with the little time that we have left, I want to talk about the importance of using the conversion formula in your direct mail pieces.
Great. So, Michael, just a quick maybe recommendation. So can we get to the business compliments, and then we could end with the little bit you have?
Okay, that'd be fine.
Yeah, because again, just given the interest. Look, and by the way, just phenomenal. We're getting some activity from business owners just digesting a lot of these insights. One quick question, by the way, that letter script that you described, can folks email you directly and maybe get that script?
Yes, they can, Chucky. Your CFO at nextstepcfo.net. YOUR CFO at nextstepcfo.net. Be happy to give it to them.
Great. So look, 5 business compliments this week. Very excited. We'll start with Sandra Wallman. who, Michael, I know you're quite familiar with. We have a great regard for Sandra and her team. She is the founder and owner of Hit the Spot Treats. In fact, she owns multiple businesses. Sandra's just fantastic at being service minded. She's such a servant leader. Now, hitthespottreats.com is the website. And here's their value proposition. You as a business owner, small business owner, even mid-size or bigger businesses, doesn't really matter. Your business deserves to be remembered. And with Hit the Spot Treats corporate gratitude initiative, you as a business owner, you could grow your client relationships through gifting with a sense of gratitude. In fact, getting started with a team at Hit the Spot Treats is very easy, very simple. They help you save time, and they do this in a way that is very systematic, right? So they craft and work with you to kind of create that gift experience. And every gratitude box that you send to clients includes a donation to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. So again, phenomenal work that Sandra and her team do. The second business owner is Michael Harrelson with Upcycled Waste. One of the things that Michael and I wanted to point out is just the service orientation of the folks at Upcycled Waste. They stand at the forefront of a pivotal shift that's happening in the industry. So that shift and sort of confluence of industrial materials processing, as well as this idea of sustainable innovation. So really remarkable work. Larice Purnell is the third business owner that we want to compliment. And Larice and team, they are at a CLE consulting firm. In fact, that's the name of the business. It's CLE Consulting, which really helps because given the work that they do, it's very mission driven, it's very community focused. So I would highly recommend a visit to cleconsultingfirm.com. The fourth business owner is Dave Rice. Dave is a founder and principal consultant at Rubicon EHS. I don't need to really sing Dave and team's praises here. I think the work that they do on the EHS front, it speaks for itself. Would highly recommend a checkout of that website, rubiconehs.com. Last but not least, Kurt Sendek. And Kurt Sendek is with 3D Stone. They provide and design fascinating stone structures. And if this is something that you want to incorporate as part of your home improvement or business improvement plan, absolutely worthwhile to touch base with Kurt and team. I will toss it back over to Michael. Michael, thank you.
Thank you, Chucky. I love compliments.
Yes.
Great. That's great. So I wanted to, I've thrown around some terms. Once again, you go back to powerfulbusinessstrategies.com to listen to some in more detail. But when I throw around terms like compelling offer, conversion formula, position of market dominance, buyer's journey, I want people to understand that there are strategies behind every one of those terms, and that when I mention the terms, I just feel like because we have new listeners all the time, and so they're not as familiar with things like the conversion formula or position of market dominance or the 5 components to a compelling offer. So I just want to, we only have a few minutes, and I want to just go through as much as I can with things like the conversion, especially the conversion formula and compelling offers. So here's the thing about the conversion formula. It's a 4-part formula, and this is how you can get leads. This is how you can convert those leads into prospects. It's a 4-part formula that allows you to address the prospect's problem and solution, and do so at just the right time, as if you were in the prospect's mind. Now, it must be followed like any other formula. And what it's designed to do is it's designed to first address 2 emotional issues to get into the head of the prospect. And that is the problem that the customer has and doesn't want, the solution they want, they can't find. And that is what the conversion formula is designed to do. So it's designed to attack the emotional chords, and then it will then logically show the prospect what the reason why they should buy this solution. And so let me go through the formula. The formula starts with what's called the captivate. That's the headline, which happens to be the problem that the customer has and doesn't want. It's designed to stop the prospect in their tracks, to interrupt them, if you will. This headline or problem is the first thing that you say out of your mouth or that a person sees or hears from you on your business. Now, it must really identify the problem they have, as you only have 3 to 5 seconds to keep their attention. And, a lot of people will say, like painters might say, well, the problem that the customer has is they can't, the customer doesn't know what color paint to select. Well, any painter can solve that problem. And so it has to be something that either that painter doesn't promote, might very well do it, but doesn't promote it, or some problem that you have seen your customers have and that should be addressed. The second step in the conversion formula is called fascinate. Now that you interrupted the prospect with the problem, you have to keep their attention and you have to engage them with a subheadline or the second thing they see, which happens to be the solution to the problem that they can't find. And so this is how you enter the conversation that's taking place in the mind of the prospect, with the captivate and fascinate. And so I'm going to repeat it one more time. These two parts of the conversion formula are the keys to successful marketing. And if these two parts of the conversion formula are not doing their job, we never get to the third part and the fourth part. And we have a special name for these two parts. It's called the position of market dominance. So you need to get the position of market dominance right, which is the captivate, problem the customer has and doesn't want, and the fascinate, the solution they want they can't find. Otherwise, if you don't get those right, the formula falls apart. Many times we see people starting with the fascinate, starting with the solution. You can start with this. You cannot give a solution when you can't brag about a solution when you don't state the problem. It works best when you state the problem, then the solution. And the third step is the educate. Now that we've interrupted and engaged, captivated and fascinated the customer prospect, we now have their attention. We have the time to give that prospect more information about how we go about solving the problem. So once again, the captivate and fascinate hits the emotional chord. The problem they have, they don't want, and the solution. That hits the emotional button. The logical button, when they have to explain it to their spouse on why they purchased this product or service, that's the educate. The educate provides the logical component. And then finally, we have to end the conversion formula with an offer that's so compelling and so irresistible that the prospect would be foolish not to take it. Now, I don't want to just say that. I want to talk about the 5 components of a compelling offer. So the close needs to be compelling. And so here are the 5 components. This is what makes up. And by the way, you could use one or more of these components. Number 1 is scarcity and urgency. Scarcity is when you proclaim that there's a limited availability of your product. For example, there are only 3 special hair brushes left. Urgency is when you put a time limit on the offer. When I was in the ski business, our most successful sales were 4-day sales. They would start on Thursday and end on Sunday. But there was a time limit. If you weren't at the store Thursday through Sunday, you lost out on the opportunity to save money. Now, in one of the sales that we had, we consistently, in a certain time period of the year, we consistently did $1 million in 4 days because the deals were great and the urgency and scarcity were intense. The second component of a compelling offer is a risk reversal, where the seller in the transaction takes most or all the risk. These can come in the form of a guarantee. Like when I was in the ski business, and I had what's called a ski guarantee. Ski the ski 3 times. You don't like it, bring it back for a brand new pair. That worked famously. I have construction clients that give 5-year warranties on their work. These guarantees are differentiators and they close more sales. The other day, I heard an ad for a psychic service. If the prediction does not come true, you get your money back. I mean, that's a pretty good value. So that's a risk reversal. The third component of a compelling offer is adding low cost but high value to your product or service. So a toothpaste company would put a QR code on the tube of toothpaste that leads to a video that shows people 4 areas inside the mouth that are most neglected while brushing their teeth and the best way to brush those areas. Information is a great way to add more value. I was talking earlier about Toyota. If they could create and crack the mileage code, if they could come up with a way to have a car drive 200 miles to the gallon. That was another, that was an example of innovation while adding more value. The fourth component of a compelling offer is packaging and bundling multiple products and services together. A package always provides a strong perception of value. And then finally, indifference to the outcome. Any prospect can tell when you're pressing to make a sale. And as a result, they surmise that you don't have their best interest in mind. You have your best interest in mind, and you just want to sell something. That's a big problem. So by being indifferent to the outcome, it puts you and your prospect on the same side of the table. And getting to know the person in terms of their inspirations, goals, and objectives helps with this process. But here's something else. Most products or services require certain steps and a certain process. And so one of the things that I've seen work well, and I've used this myself, is saying something like this: whether you work with me or someone else, you must go through these steps in order to succeed if you purchase this product or service. And by saying that, it's indifference, whether you work with me or someone else. And if you say that throughout the presentation, throughout the sales process, that's being indifferent to the outcome. So once again, though, we have shows dedicated to compelling offers and the conversion formula, position of market dominance. I just wanted to mention one more thing, and that's the buyer's journey. As we have a separate show for that as well that we've already done. And so the buyer travels through this predictable information gathering stage on their way to a purchase. And here's the remarkable statistic that we found. Many studies were done on this, by the way, and they found that only 1 to 3% of buyers in any market at any moment are ready to buy now. The other 97 to 99% are on what we call the buyer's journey. And many people don't understand this because they're always going after those now buyers, that 1 to 3%. 97 to 99% of a market are on this journey where it starts out with a mild interest. Somebody just makes somebody aware of the product or service, and they might look around and see what else is out there. But then as they go out down this journey, which could take anywhere from 15 minutes to 15 years or more, they're asking, why should I buy? What are the benefits of ownership? And then they're asking, as they go down the journey, why shouldn't I buy? What are the objections? What if coming up with these objections that need to be overcome. And then when they finally overcome that, who should they buy from? And that is, you never know, and that's what we were talking about with the direct mail campaigns. You never know what position your prospect is in during the buyer's journey. And so, once again, I just wanted to talk about position of market dominance, conversion formula, compelling offers, and a little bit about the buyer's journey, because I made mention to the importance of utilizing those strategies, even in a direct mail campaign or any type of advertising that you do. So once again, to get a copy of the book, Powerful Business Strategies, simply go to our website, www.nextstepcfo.net. It's totally complimentary. And until next Monday at noon Eastern Time, for Chucky Obio, my name is Michael Barbarita. And remember, don't keep doing what your competition is doing.
You have been listening to Powerful Business Strategies, finding out that everything you ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Tune in next week and every week at noon Eastern Time on W4CY Radio with your host, Michael Barbarita of Next Step CFO and moderator Chucky Obio.